compromised containment on half a dozen Keeters and ran off.
Uh-oh.
They didn't make it more than 5 feet from the tunnels before collapsing in a soup. Director's orders are to stay put. Keep an eye on the cams, both in and around the facility.
It's really hard to imagine what the end of the world will look like. I mean, you can probably figure that there's not going to be many people around. There's going to be ruins everywhere. There's been tons of movies that have depicted different outcomes from the extinction of humanity, or the near extinction from humanity. It wouldn't be much of a show if there were no humans left, right? But we've seen zombie movies about apocalypses. We've seen movies where disease has killed everyone or almost everyone, which typically kind of runs the zombie theme too, right? And we've also seen nuclear war stuff, you know, or huge catastrophic storms. And as I've grown older, I guess I've gotten influenced by the things that I've seen along the way, because when I was a kid, I guess there was a lot of news and talk about, you know, wars and nuclear warheads. And I think that was my idea. And now, I don't think that it's going to ever come to that. But with the virus running rampant and being in the news so much, nowadays it seems much more realistic that there's just going to be sickness that destroys everything. And it won't necessarily happen, but the world will end one day. It's inevitable. And not because, you know, I'm being morbid or anything. It's because the actual sun will burn out. Like, it's a star. It's not going to happen in any of our lifetimes. And hopefully none of us get to see anything catastrophic that will end more lives than we've already seen, you know. As it is, it's really, really hard to fathom that. But you gotta admit, the end of the world makes some good stories. Some good movies come out of it too. We're gonna react to one today. It's about SCPs. It's called The End of Humanity When Day Breaks, and it's by SCP Animated. Make sure to head on over to their channel, click the subscribe button and the notification bell. And if you like reaction videos like this, make sure to subscribe to this channel as well. Let's get into the animation. Looks barren, like
she
desert.
lived alone here for months, years. Looking around the room, it's easy to see why she ended up going crazy. Site-46 is far from glamorous, but it's as good a place as any to shack up at the end of the world. At least it's blissfully dark here. Outside, the sun glows with blistering heat. I managed to get here without falling victim, by some miracle. A heap of excess cloth lies in the corner of the room in a bundle, where I dropped it after I arrived. If you're desperate enough to go outside these days, you better do it with as much protection between you and the light as possible.
Ah, I see where this is going. So, we just talked about the sun a second ago. There was a movie a little while back called Fade to Black, I believe. It was in a universe that was being told by with another story about Riddick, or I think Vin Diesel played as the guy that basically on this planet it was super hot. It was like Mercury, right? The sun would burn almost anything. That there was a prison on this planet that they would keep people, and they were running like crazy from this sunlight because everything it touched, it incinerated. If I'm not mistaken, there was also some creatures that were native to that place that were really, really dangerous as well, and they would hunt at night.
The computer screen casts a faint glow into the room as I read about the 01 event. To her credit, she documented it well.
The 01 event.
Dr. Logan Igata, a level 3 researcher, had kept me riveted for the last couple hours, reading her files and watching her video entries.
Due to Site-46's possession of several communicable info hazards, we have been cut off from the rest of the network under blackout protocol. As such, I'll be updating this as we come across new information. On the bright side, we're actually still receiving transmissions from a few sites. A good number of personnel have made it, it seems. Some are planning to make a break for 19, some are trying to fight the Dash-A's. Some, like us, are simply biding their time.
A lot of terminology that I'm not familiar with here, but what I'm picking up on is that there was a specific site that something happened at, or a specific event, and some people have fled to different sites in order to seek, safety from, I guess, whatever the heck caused all of this.
Our site is sealed for the time being. We're not ready for the journey. At least, not yet. We experienced a containment breach a few days ago. One of the higher maintenance humanoids broke loose. Son of a bitch compromised containment on half a dozen Keters and ran off.
Uh-oh.
They didn't make it more than 5 feet from the tunnels before collapsing in a soup. I watched it play out on the cams. It didn't take long for them to get back up. Director's orders are to stay put. Keep an eye on the cams, both in and around the facility. We've got the 001 skip speeding at our front door, and God knows what else is locked in here with us. We still have electricity. We should for quite some time. And the place is stocked with enough supplies to last the site a couple of years.
That's good. So the Keter class is the bad ones. Those are the ones that are capable of really, really, really doing some damage. And apparently one of the SCPs that had one of them that got out, or there was a containment breach, released a bunch of Keter classes, but they got into the sunlight and that's what happened to him. That pudding, that mass with the eyeball in it. The heck, man?
I'll admit, I fast-forwarded through a couple of the tapes. At one point, I landed on a conversation between her and another woman in the facility. Someone named Ari.
Okay.
They were talking over the radio.
I'm fine, babe, really. I can take care of myself.
No. I know that. I can't help it, though. I know coming here was never easy for you. And with everything going on,
Really, I'm fine.
The guys are sitting around playing cards. I'm tucked in the corner with my notebook.
Sweetheart, penning a sonnet about my undying love at a time like this? I'm flattered.
Oh, all right.
Actually, it's an
They're
elegy
lovers?
at the moment. I feel like if I don't keep myself busy doing something, I'll go crazy down here.
Oh.
I know what you mean, hun. I'll let you get back to it. I love you.
Love you too, babe.
Yeah.
There are really large gaps in the timeline,
Guess
though.
that was a relationship.
The next entry was over 3 months later.
They've just been sitting out there this entire time, calling out to us, begging for us to come outside. The noise drew in more of them. There's this one mass that I'm sure must have a few dozen people and God knows how many animals roiling around inside it.
Oh my god.
Screams and bleats and screeches and howls non-stop. Louder than all hell. The worst ones make this disgusting moaning, like they're actually enjoying it.
So it's absorbing.
They're not going to
things.
leave as long as they know we're down here. We managed to talk one of the Ds into going out, see if he couldn't draw them away.
Or D-class.
He was surprisingly okay with the plan. All he asked for was a gun and a single round.
Oh.
He made it out there, and one got a hold of him. Tried to get his mask off. He managed to work the pistol up beneath his chin in time. Got it off.
Dang. I mean, what are you gonna do in that predicament?
I figured he was
Sword?
lucky. After he fell limp, though, it kept working at his suit.
Ugh.
Pried off the hood, pouring itself inside. Began tearing it off of him from within. He came back. Started changing. Dripping out of the suit and screaming and screaming and screaming.
Oh my god. It's not enough
The
to
director
kill
has a
yourself.
plan. There's an escape tunnel hidden in his office. The tram under the site will take us to a safe house. We should be able to start towards 19 from there.
She deteriorated more and more between each recording.
Dang, man.
Her skin became pallid and translucent. Her hair thinned, and her eyes sunk into her skull. But the pain within them was the hardest thing to look at, especially in the next recording from
mean,
2 days later.
She's
The
probably going crazy.
Tunnel. It all went wrong. Flowed in through the ceiling, dragging them into the light and ripping off their clothes and
Oh no.
She reached into her pocket and withdrew a finger.
Oh.
A wedding ring glinted dimly above the severed portion. She held it close in cupped hands, running a thumb across the band.
God dang.
She sat like this for an eternity,
That was her lover,
lost
huh?
in the moment. There was a look of realization when she saw that she was still recording. She leaned forward, as if to turn off the camera, when a radio crackled to life.
Logan? Where are you?
Oh no.
Why can't I get back inside? Are you there? Are you there?
The creature. Got
Logan's jaw dropped, and what little color was left in her face drained away.
It's a bright, sunny day, and you're just wasting away down there. It's just like that day. Do you remember, babe?
Oh my
It was so perfect.
God.
Everything was how I'd always dreamt it would be. You planned exquisitely. You even had the band play our song.
So it still retains all its consciousness from its life, except it's
The next entry was several months later.
It's about trying to get
She
more.
lost weight. Her eyes were bloodshot and wide. On the table before her lay a knife, a bowl, and a stack of manila envelopes filled with yellowing pages. Atop this stack was a blood-stained parchment.
Oh no.
I keep going over it again and again in my mind.
She's about to do something
That
crazy.
day back in the tunnels. Everything that happened. I've gone down there a few times, if only to hear her voice again. But it's wrong. That thing on the other side of the door. It isn't her.
No,
Not anymore.
it's
It
changed.
sounds like her. It knows everything she knew. But it's not her.
I could barely watch as she sliced into the palm of her left hand.
Girl, what you doing?
She clenched her fists, draining her blood into the bowl. The next entry was gruesome. Her hair was falling out in patches, and I would have assumed she no longer had eyes because of how deep they recessed into her skull.
She's gotta be malnourished.
I didn't
and
understand what
depressed.
she'd done.
She won't stop.
God.
She won't go away. I didn't do it. No, I didn't pick up. I didn't pick up info hazard browsing the archives. Tested myself for SCP-8673 infection. Negative. SCP-9189 is the only one that uses print as a vector. Can't be that.
She's
Can't be
going
that.
crazy.
I still have all my fingers. So I'm not infected. I'm not crazy. I know.
No.
I know the ritual worked.
No, you are.
I know it's really
Oh,
her.
ritual.
It's her, and she. No, I can't. You're not the same. Not you. It's not you anymore. Nope. No. I was planning on using this till I found some leftover meds. Don't want to risk calling attention to myself. Mom, Dad, Ari, I'm sorry.
Damn. Wow. She completely lost it.
I wonder where I'll go from here. Maybe Site 17? I can't be all that's left. I'll find someone. Shit!
Uh-oh. Run, buddy, run! Too late! Now you're one of them. God. That was hard, man. That was hard. That's gotta be a fate worse than death. It really is. Watching the people around you not even die, turn into something that is a terrible version of what they were before. It's kind of like this glob of stuff would absorb them and take on their traits, their personality, their memories, their intellect, and use it to lure in other victims to become part of it. Scary stuff, man. That's wild. I'd just like to say again, I'm glad none of this stuff really exists. But such a well-written story, man. I ain't gonna lie, bro. It started jerking on some tears right there. It was close. I hope y'all really enjoyed this one, guys. SCP Animated. Make sure to check him out, and a couple other SCP animations that I did right here from him. Thanks so much for watching. As always, this is Zueljin signing off, and we'll see you next time.